Some things in life are worth the wait. The decision was made on Friday that a game of this magnitude between two of the top 15 teams in the country didn't want to risk it due to dicey weather on Saturday night. Couldn't move it up because of football here at Ascension St. Vincent Field, so they made the decision to go to Monday on a crisp, brisk, clear, breezy Monday night. Two teams that played for the national championship 3 years ago will face each other with first place at stake for one of them in the Crossroads League. It is Marian at Spring Arbor. It's yours on the ISC Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us alongside Kristen Hazley. My name is Greg Rakestraw. And again, you want to talk about pedigree? Marian's been knocking on the door for about a decade in terms of the national level. Spring Arbor, a multi-time national champion. Their most recent one, when we talked about against Marian 3 years ago.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Greg, a national pedigree for this Spring Arbor team. 3 NAIA national titles in 2015, 17, and you mentioned it, the 2022 crown came over Marian. So talk about a game with a lot of emotion behind it. One for the top of the conference standings and an excellent warm-up for postseason play.
Marian has basically held an NAIA regional here for about 7 or 8 years running. This is how good Spring Arbor is. Last 10 times they have played Marian, Marian has won just 3. They're 3-5-2. Historically, Marian has won just 4 times since Spring Arbor joined the league about 20 years ago. This is the case, though, where Marian is the higher-ranked team. They played twice last year. Both of them were in Michigan. Marian won the regular season meeting 3-1. Spring Arbor won the conference championship game in a Galazo Fest. 4-3 was that one. This Spring Arbor team doesn't appear to be as high-powered maybe as some other Spring Arbor teams, but still very good. Clearly the record shows you Marian has pulled the full 3 points in every match but one. That one they didn't was a 0-0 draw against 16th ranked Taylor in Crossroads League play. You saw Marian play about 6-7 weeks ago. What caught your attention that night about Justin Sullivan's team?
Well, Justin Sullivan has done a great job in general of creating a program that has a very specific psychology and philosophy when it comes to how they play soccer. They're going to keep the ball, they're going to keep possession, and they're going to stay patient. Now, what's different to me so far about this Marian team that's ranked number 3 in the nation has been their defensive prowess. They're limiting shots on goal. They're forcing their opponents to take shots they don't want to take. And essentially, their keeper hasn't had to do much with their hands. So it's been the defensive step up that I think has really elevated this Marian team.
Allow me to back up my partner's assertion with some cold hard facts. Lily Ames has been the primary goalkeeper. She hasn't played every game. Shay Johnson has made a few appearances as well, but Lily has been the primary keeper in conference play. Lily has played over 1,100 minutes on the season. She has faced 28 shots during that time. She's allowed 7 goals. She has 21 saves. Simply put, the ball is not getting to her. That's how good possession and the defenders have been for Coach Sullivan's squad.
Yeah, and even to take that a step further, Greg, when we talked to Coach Sullivan last week, he was telling us that she might not even be the best shot stopper on the team. The reason she's in that position is because she understands tactically what Marian wants to do, as well as commands that back line and has excellent positioning. So, again, just someone that offers more almost on the offensive than the defensive end for Marian.
In terms of up top, Katie Coger, who is in her 3rd year in the program, 11 goals, 5 assists. She began her days in Indiana State. She has spent some time playing for the Indy 11 during the course of her summers. Again, it's a pretty balanced attack, but Katie is the focal point wearing number 14 this evening.
Yeah, if there's a player you're going to stop, you're looking at Katie Coger, obviously leading the team in goals scored, but she's just that high target center. She makes those great vertical runs and is really more of the first-time finisher than someone that's going to sort of play around with it at the top of the box.
Now, we talk about how much the lack of activity for the goalkeeper from Marian catches our attention. You talk about how Katie leads the team in goals, one away from leading them in assists. That'd be Olivia Palmer that has 6. But if you ask me who I think the best player is for Marian, the stats don't wow you, but your eyeballs would tell you about 20 or 30 minutes into the match, the young lady wearing number 4, Marian Koroselma. She is the definition of a holding midfielder, and frankly, she's the nerve center of what Marian wants to do on the pitch.
Yeah, I'll try and say it better, but you're exactly right, Greg. She is truly that almost a team captain, team heart. Every time the ball goes back to her, she's looking to redistribute, looking for another option. We were talking pregame, even her effort on the defensive end. I've seen her make some amazing recovery runs this season as well. It doesn't take long watching this Marian team to know notice, Cora Selma.
On the flip side, Reagan Kohler is the shot stopper for Spring Arbor. She has played every minute in goal this year for the Cougars. 13 goals allowed and 36 saves. Carly Miller, who's one of the handful of Indiana natives. She went to Westview High School. You can see Michigan from there. It's pretty close. 8 goals and 2 assists for Spring Arbor. Again, 8-2-4 for Spring Arbor is almost a down year. That is how good they are. And they are one of 5 ranked teams in the top 17 in the Crossroads League with 2 weeks left to go in regular season play.
Yeah, talk about a conference that prepares you for the postseason play. There's a reason we see a lot of these teams go deep into that NAIA National Championship. And again, Marian having just a supreme year, and I couldn't agree more. 8-2-4, I'm sure is considered a down year for this Spring Arbor team.
And again, there is something, though, to wearing that crest on your chest. There is an intimidation factor when Spring Arbor is on your schedule. And for Marian, their 2 biggest conference games are back-to-back, and now because of this delay, they are 5 days apart. Indiana Wesleyan will be here on Saturday. Krista and I will have that one as well. But first things first, it's the multi-time national champions. Spring Arbor visiting Marian. It's yours after this short timeout as you're watching Marian University Women's Soccer on the ISC Sports Network.
Does your school offer high-quality education? Does it offer virtual or hybrid options? Marian University Preparatory School educates students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep your school for 2022.
This is Paul. He loves running, music, and DIY home projects. In fact, he's remodeling his kitchen thanks to a home equity line of credit from Indiana Members Credit Union. They connected him with a loan officer, got him approved at a great low rate, and made it easy for him to make his monthly payment from anywhere thanks to IMCU's digital banking. Looks like Paul can do it all with a little help from IMCU. This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle, like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.
We always are appreciative of our ISC Sports Network crew, but our crew was notified on Friday, hey, we're not playing on Saturday, and it was kind of, let's get into scramble mode. Hey, you free Monday night? Come show a little great small college soccer. So thank you to Charlie Hammock, David Kahn, Wes Wolf, everybody involved behind the scenes that is making sure our signal gets to you on this Monday evening. Also, normally, we're kind of monitoring the other matches in the league. Not the case tonight. This is the solo flyer, again, because of the game being moved from Saturday night. So I guess we should say hello to all of you watching from elsewhere on the Crossroads League, checking in this Monday night matchup. Cheese, final thoughts before this one goes live.
I'm excited, Greg. It's going to be a battle. Both of these teams want to do similar things. They both want to keep possession and have a lot of chances to look at the goal. Now, unfortunately, only one of them can have the ball at a time, so it really is going to be a fun chess match to watch develop, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Both these teams with hues of blue tonight. Marian in the light blue, Spring Arbor in the darker, more navy blue. This is a north-south pitch alignment, and it is a strong south wind. Now, as the sun is preparing to set in the next 30 to 45 minutes, that wind will dial out down a little bit. Spring Arbor will have a bit of a tailwind behind them as they go towards campus, towards the north end of the park. The aforementioned Katie Kogert standing over top of this one. Again, we thank you for joining us on this Monday evening at Ascension St. Vincent Field. It is a vintage fall night, and it's going to be tough to find better soccer outside of the Division I ranks you're going to see this evening. Thanks for being a part of it on the ISC Sports Network. Both these teams have 2 matches left after tonight. League windows on Saturday and Wednesday coming up. Good early possession here for Spring Arbor. That's Kayla Barr with the ball at her feet. Kayla 4 goals and assist on the season, and foul called against Marian. So a chance to organize from a set piece standpoint here early in this contest for Spring Arbor. And both these teams play rugged non-conference schedules because they're planning on getting to Florida every year. They played in that national championship game 3 years ago. It was on December the 5th. That was the second match there between those two teams. There would have been a third had it not been for a snowstorm on the day of the national championship, or the conference championship game. That was the same day as the Snow Non-Bell Classic from a Wabash to Paw perspective in November of 22, and both teams said, you know what? We're going to host a regional coming up here in about a week or so. How about we just shake hands and we'll see each other in the national championship game? And that's exactly how it played out. No such issues here tonight. Ball taken away by Coroselma. Here's Koger. Good overlapping run for Marian. This is Sienna Mullen. Mullen the step over, takes this inside of the 18, plays it across, sitting there, tapped home. As easy as you like. In 100 seconds, Marian takes the 1-goal lead.
Well, Greg, they took the goal before I even had a chance to say a word. Well done by Marian there. They withstand a bit of an attack off the start from Spring Arbor, but look at this run by Sienna Mullen. Does a great job, plays the early service back diagonal across the box, and there is no doubt about it. She just puts it away early on for Marian.
For Koger, it is goal number 12. For Sienna Mullen, it is her second assist of the season. And frankly, Kristen, you could hear it in my voice. I was stunned that Mullen got inside the 18 that easily, and I was equally stunned that nobody was marking Koger on that play.
I mean, they did a great job, and that's that transition attack. It was so quick from that free kick we saw Spring Arbor have. Right away, Marian went fast, able to find Sienna Mullen on that outside right side, and it's really just a nice delayed run by Koger to be open in the penalty spot.
Well, no one expected the Spanish Inquisition, and nobody expected a goal in the opening 100 seconds of this match. So Marian playing from in front 1-0, and this is the part where I remind you, the last time these two teams played, 7 were on the board. It was 4-3 in favor of Spring Arbor in last year's conference championship game. Marian winning the midfield battles here in the early going. And again, as advertised, Coroselma is right in the middle of the action for Coach Sullivan's squad. Coroselma, one of the few international players in this game. She is from Mexico. Marian has a smattering of players from Mexico, but this is largely an all-domestic product type of game. Coroselma couldn't work it around Isa Martinez. Carly Miller gets taken down, and that'll be a whistle. Second foul called against the Knights in the opening stages of the match.
And these are nice chances for Marian to go ahead and get back in shape. Obviously, they want to keep the ball, but when they do lose it, they've done a nice job of getting behind the ball, and it's going to be defending these set pieces that are going to be critical for the Marian defense.
To be blunt, I don't expect this to finish at 1-0. There's going to be a lot more in this one. Lily Ames out to go get this one, and she is a native of Michigan that plays for this Marian squad. Restart is a quick one. Reed in the midfield to win that back by Marian. That's Taylor Wirt. Transfer from Mercer at the Division I level. And that has been a fertile recruiting ground for the Knights. They have, in the pre-portal days, like small colleges do, you have players that elect to leave for a year and then come back closer to home. A bit of a giveaway in the back by Spring Arbor, but Marian does not capitalize on it just yet. Wirt. Back to midfield by Spring Arbor. And again, when in doubt, find the player wearing number 4 if you're in the light blue tonight in Coroselma.
It's really amazing. When the ball touches her feet, it's almost like she slows the game down. Everything slows down for her. She sees the game that well and is able to play advancedly.
Trying to slide that one through was Mullen. Mullen, a sophomore from Fishers. And you hear the wind kind of whipping through behind us. Microphone may make that sound a little worse than it actually is. Good breeze, but I'm not sure, again, how big of an advantage it's going to be for Spring Arbor here in half number 1. Best spell of possession so far for Spring Arbor. Broadcaster Jinx kicks in as soon as I say that. Marian steps in and knocks the ball away.
And this is the part of the game that Spring Arbor wants to take advantage of, is when Marian does have the ball deep in their own defensive third, can they put the pressure on and just dispossess that Marian backline? It doesn't happen a lot, but that is their first line of attack if you're Spring Arbor.
Koger and Palmer looking to go to work. Good job by Spring Arbor. And Ayla Thompson just to kind of dig in and hold her ground defensively. One touch by the Cougars. Marian will simply sweep that ball sideways. That's Aaron Kelly, sophomore from Libertyville, Illinois. Aaron does not factor in terms of most of the offensive stats, but she factors into Marian having allowed 7 goals all season. Lefty shot, that ricochets off the bar. That is still in play. Good job to pull that back by Spring Arbor. Then the offering is sent wide, and again, there's a display of the technical skill by the team that is down a goal. I'll repeat myself again. This is not going to finish 1-0, folks. We are just getting started in Indianapolis.
No, and you see there just the prowess they get. I mean, hitting the top of the post there from outside the 18. The power is there. The precision is there. This team averages almost 20 shots a game, just not finishing at a clip they're used to.
Number 3 versus number 13. Indiana Wesleyan is number 6. Taylor is number 16. Grace is number 17. You say this about most sports in the Crossroads League, but this is just as strong as any other league sport in terms of what these schools have done to build programs that are of national relevance. And what a sport that, historically was dominated by more southern climes. That is no longer the case. Good work in the midfield by Martinez. Ball knocked forward by the Cougars, but quickly swept away by Marian. In the heat map of this match, has spent more time in this half of the field than the other, but it's Marian that pounced on the early opportunity. Good defensive work by Spring Arbor. It was Gracie Beld that held her ground effectively. Got to be precise with those passes along the back if you're Marian. Spring Arbor is waiting to pounce. Martinez. Left-footed ball to the edge of the 18. Headed down, Miller. Looking to make the turn. Never going to spot to fire a shot again. She is their leading goal scorer. She's a midfielder, but has 8 goals on the season.
And you see Marian just trying to get out of their own defensive third there, but Taylor were twice trying to find Palmer up top. It's just too direct. It's too predictable for Spring Arbor, and they pick it off twice. But this is what Justin Sullivan wants them to do here. Move it around, be patient, find the right development for it so you can move forward as a team.
Mullen has it taken off of her boots. And that shot directly at the chest of Lily Ames. And Spring Arbor clearly has settled in after giving up that opening salvo by Marian. Knights trying to build from the back, and Spring Arbor is buzzing around them, often like Marian does to other teams.
And that'll be an interesting part of that chess match we were talking about. Both of these teams thrive and are used to having a lot of possession of this ball. So with Marian being dispossessed, how do they react to that? Do they panic and try to go too direct, or do they stay true to their philosophy and continue to have this patient possession?
Koger and Palmer just kind of hanging back at midfield. Koger now will drift back, trying to regain possession. Marian trying to get a break going 2v2, but couldn't get around defensively. That was Thompson that stood up and made the play for Spring Arbor, but that ball will eventually trickle into touch. Not a goal kick, but a throw-in coming here for Marian. This match is brought to us by AAA Roofing. When it rains, it pours, so trust the pros at AAA Roofing. That's who we call. Special thanks to AAA Roofing for their support of Marian Athletics. Greg Rakestraw, Kristen Hazley with you here on the ISC Sports Network. Just joining us, Marian scored really on their first attack down the field. Assist by Mullen, goal by Katie Koger. Since then, frankly, most of the matches have been played at the other end of the park. One outstanding quality look from outside of the 18 by Spring Arbor. That ricocheted off the crossbar. And that'll be a foul, bit of a hold by a Spring Arbor player.
Yeah, Marian with the break there. They've done well defending, given up a couple chances here and there, and that's obviously what Coach Sullivan wants them to step a little bit more urgency as they're within that 20, 25 yards out.
Kostick. Ball goes all the way around the back for Marian. And if Marian can break through that midfield press, they'll have an opportunity. That is proving to be easier said than done right now. Throw in coming for the Cougars.
And you mentioned it, not something that Marian is used to facing. The other team having a lot of possession and putting on this offensive pressure and attack. But so far defending well, they need to combine through the midfield to get up and out of this position.
Ball played across, and again, that one, Ames had it tracked the entire way. As I look to my right and talk to a player that played that position at the Division I level, how tough a ball is that when all of a sudden the cross starts to look more like a shot?
Very tough. I mean, you've got to change, your entire plan midair at that point. And trust me, I've been caught out a few times in the wrong position, but that is definitely one where she's going to want to recover the goal, and then if you can win it, you want to go win it.
Selma lays it back to a teammate. And Ames has been just as valuable with her feet so far as she has been in terms of the shot-stopping variety. Good work by Koger to drift back into possession. That will be a throw. As that is played off, Elena Simmons.
A better break by Marian that time. Koger combining with Wirt. A couple diagonal passes. That's what's going to break this defense. You got to find the diagonal angles.
Parmer. Now Wirt. Open space here, but no Marian player making the overlapping run just yet. That will be a throw eventually. The law of physics will kick in at some point in time, and that will be a throw coming for Marian. Well, Spring Arbor takes a back seat to no one from a recent history perspective, and even after giving up that opening goal, they have been the one dictating the tenor and tempo of this match so far. Parmer looking to use that speed. Now, can she find a teammate? Tries to play it across and never fully got the pass off of her shoes. Marian, that will maintain possession, as Jordan Love will head over to hit the reset button here for the Knights. Love, a junior from Warsaw. And Marian trying to keep pace with Indiana Wesleyan. Spring Arbor played Indiana Wesleyan to start the league campaign and played to a draw. Wesleyan sitting on 19 points. Again, they are here on Saturday afternoon. Kristen and I will have that one for you at 1 o'clock here on the ISC Sports Network. And any Crossroads League tournament matches played here at Ascension St. Vincent Field, or any NAIA regional matches played here, we will have them for you as well in ISC. So we frankly plan to be here a lot during the month of November. All taken away by the Cougars. Postma in retreat mode to reorganize a bit. Selma digs in, couldn't get there. Miller plays it to her left. This is Barr. Barr, did she get the cross away? No, but it will be a corner. So the first corner of the match for the Cougars, frankly for either side, comes here in the 15th minute.
Yeah, it's great defensive work there by Kylie Jones, the center back. Been really the anchor of that back line. She steps a bit out of position, but does nicely to recover to the end line and get the corner or force a corner kick versus a shot on goal.
Jones now in her 4th year in this Marian program. Former Hamilton Southeastern Royal, one of the top high school teams in the nation this year at HSC. On the corner. All the way to the edge of the 6, headed up and over the bar, and That'll be a goal kick now for Marian.
And both these teams averaging a lot of corners per game. I believe they're both now, after that one, tied at 99 corners on the season. With that being said, though, you see the service in a little bit flighted. That's going to be easier for Marian to defend. So it'll be interesting to see if they switch up the service or stick with that flighted back post ball.
We may be asking for a different soccer ball, I believe, is the reason for the delay. Those select soccer balls all appear to be pretty broken in at this juncture of the season. And Marian elects to build from the back. They have not diverted from their plan despite, I wouldn't say being under attack, but no touch has been an easy one so far along the back line for Marian. A throw in coming here for Spring Arbor.
And I think that's a mentality Marian has to take. You know, if you don't have possession, it's not the end of the world. It feels weird for them because they're so used to possessing so much of the ball. But they just need to stay compact, stay disciplined, and they'll understand that, hey, we're already up 1-0. We just need to take our chances when we can and not panic.
Kostic able to keep that ball in play and earns the throw for the Knights. Marian mentioned has Indiana Wesleyan Saturday. They go to St. Francis then next Wednesday. St. Francis, I'm not sure they actually make the conference tournament. All 10 schools sponsor the sport. 8 make the conference tournament. Simply you get a home match. Top 4 seeds get home matches in the quarterfinals. Top 2 seeds left. Then the semifinals in terms of that half of the bracket. And highest seed remaining hosts the championship game. And a couple of years ago, we changed that from a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday to a Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday. That frankly give teams more time to get ready for the NAIA regional. So conference tournament play begins on November 4th and 5th. For the women and men respectively.
Yeah, that's the ball they want to find there to clear. That Koger on that diagonal leading forward. She just takes a bit of a heavy touch there, but that's better for Marian.
Ball played in, but just as quickly swept away by Aaron Kelly. It was Postma that steered that one towards the 18. And again, it'll be a Marian throw.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're used to seeing Aaron Kelly be really vital in the attack from that left back. The system that Coach Sullivan plays allows her to get forward more in that left channel. And unfortunately, with the pressure that Spring Arbor's putting on, she's not able to take those chances right now, having to stay home, and it's sort of limiting their power going forward.
Throw-in coming for the Knights. $18 minutes in. Marian's been sitting on this lead now for the last 16 minutes. Farmer the target up top. Cora Selma gets involved. And something that you rarely say for the 5-footer. Wins the header. Marian trying to time the runs perfectly. Again, this is where Marian did the damage earlier. Mullen able to get to the byline and play it back across. Trying a similar route here, and this time a little better defensive help that time for Spring Arbor.
I love the idea from Mullen, though. She gets the ball with space, goes with speed, and takes on the defender. Unfortunately, great defense there by Spring Arbor. I still love the idea by Mullen.
Jones now in retreat mode. It's Claire Van Zanten that was trying to push the issue along the back line for Spring Arbor. Now Barr. It's doubled by a Marian player. Touch gets away from Postma, and now Palmer draws the eyeballs of 3 different Spring Arbor players and still going. Rounds 1, has a player back post, tried to cut it back, but pretty good consolation prizes to get the corner here in the 20th minute. First corner flag trip for the Knights.
Yeah, another great combination in the midfield that springs Palmer forward, has two defenders going with her, beats them with speed, tries to bring it back to the left foot. This touch here is fantastic. Goes diagonal, could have taken a shot there, wants to cross it to the left foot, and it's well done by Megan Mahali.
So Marian will have just two players inside of the 6. Spring Arbor, frankly, is giving up real estate to players hanging around the 18. It is Jones that will send it in all the way through and overcooks that one. Palmer has to hustle just to get to it and keep it in play. She does. Everybody now can reset defensively for Spring Arbor. Good high line being kept by the Cougars as well to really compact the space on Marian.
And in that situation, you make a great point. They're playing high. The forwards have less room to work north and south. They've got to start going horizontally, diagonally, using the width of their attack.
Guess who steps in the middle and takes it away? Cora Selma. She knows what you're thinking before you think it. What a find she has been for this program.
It's been fun to watch for sure.
Not fun to play against, but fun to watch from our seats.
Glad I retired at that point.
Cora Selma with the read. Brings possession back to Marian. But on the flip side, great attack by Spring Arbor. And these two teams, to a large degree, like looking in a mirror in terms of how they play. In possession, very much tilted in favor of the visitors. Scoreboard, obviously, in favor of the home side.
Yeah, the difference you see is Spring Arbor plays a little bit different of a formation. It's still a similar 4-4-2, but they're playing almost a midfield flat four. So a compact four. So their outside center or outside backs are able to get up a lot. And you'll see when they're on the attack, usually there's only two center backs hanging back behind Spring Arbor's line. So typically that's where those transition moments for Marian are going to spring some opportunities.
So as deemed, that was a clean tackle, and the ball was last touched by Palmer. So with that, we play on. Marian had taken away possession for just a moment. Now back at the feet of the Cougars. First one of 3 sets of Cougars in this league. St. Francis, Mount Vernon, Nazarene, and Spring Arbor. All from 3 different states. But unquestionably, this is the Cougars you're always on the watch for in terms of the league table from a soccer perspective. Postma. Miller. And foul whistled against the Knights.
That's a tough one to give up there if you're Marian. Right in the middle of the field, they play quickly, not a chance to get back, but can they refocus and defend this as a crew?
Taking this one towards the corner flag. Marian elects to keep that in play. Nothing comes of it just yet. Good job by Wirt to dig in. You're happy when you gain 5 yards of real estate right now if you're Marian.
Right, Wirt does a nice job. You know, she rotates back in there to recover, does a nice job winning the ball, but then Palmer's all by herself up top against 3 of those Spring Arbor defenders.
And again, Cora Selma will be fouled, and a card is going to be shown, and that's shown towards somebody on the bench, I believe. That might have been directed at Justin Sullivan, frankly, because he was unhappy about a potential foul further back up the park. See Coach Sullivan and Doug Starnes having a bit of a conversation at the other end of the bench.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Spring Arbor coming in to Marian's house and giving them a taste of their own medicine, really dominating the possession so far. But the Knights up 1-0 on the scoreboard. So, again, they're going to have to change something a little bit. It'll be fun to see the tweaks they come up with.
Yellow card is shown to Van Zanten of Spring Arbor, so it does go back to the foul. Again, card was kind of shown in one direction of the conversation then between referee and coach, but card is directed towards the Spring Arbor player. We'll show you the replay of this coming up in a matter of moments. And again, I think the card went back not there, but the card went back in the other direction of the player that was being checked for Marian. I want to thank our friends at BSN Sports, the preferred provider apparel for Marian Knights Athletics. Thanks to our friends at BSN. So it appears the time for conversation is ended, and we'll restart here coming up in a matter of moments. So there will be a sub coming on here for Marian. So Sammy King, transfer from Bowling Green, comes in. 2 goals and an assist on the season. So she replaces Aaron Kelly. First sub that has been used by either side in this game, obviously with weather conditions in the low 60s, upper 50s. You can play players deeper into the half at this juncture, and a couple of extra days of rest don't hurt either.
Yeah, Coach Sullivan was talking about a few key players that they're starting to get back from injury, Sammy King being one of those. Really stepping back into that line. They've done a nice job, obviously, of holding up that defensive standard without her, but she's starting to get some minutes back before the postseason.
Giveaway forced by Spring Arbor. 4 shots for the Cougars, just 1 on goal. Ricochet off the crossbar doesn't count. There was the ball that was hit at Ames that was the shot on target. 1 shot on target, 1 goal so far for Marian.
It's a pretty good percent.
And again, frankly, it was shockingly easy, and nothing has come easily for Marian since that time. That seemed to be the wake-up moment for the team getting off the bus from Michigan.
Apparently, something like that. It's been a great response by Spring Arbor, though. Getting some of those looks. You mentioned, 4 shots, only 1 on goal. That's really the difference between these two teams when you look at the records, is they both get a lot of chances. It just seems Marian's getting more quality chances.
Miller, and that was setting up. And I'm not sure there was the next pass to be made, but Miller directed that one towards Barr, and Turf Monster came up and got that one. Their Marian substitution comes on. Palmer will have a seat. So Marian will get some fresh legs up top. Let's take a look. And again, frankly, that took a touch off a Marian defender and then took a touch off of Barr.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Barr, open there in that spot, but I don't know that she could do much if she was even able to settle that down.
Barr, a sophomore from Plainwell, Michigan. 4 goals and an assist on the year. Throw in coming here for the Knights. Well, it is rare to see someone kind of take it to Marian in the fashion that Spring Arbor has, but what the scoreboard tells you and your eyes tell you are 2 different things right now.
Absolutely. It's a great test for this Marian team, as well as the Spring Arbor team. We've talked about how almost easy it's been for them to maintain possession and play the way they want. And so now with some pressure from Spring Arbor, what are those tweaks? You're going to run into these different situations, different levels of teams in the postseason, and you've got to be able to make quick in-game adjustments.
And again, both these teams, you play great competition in this league anyway. But both these two kind of play a regional or national schedule, knowing, hey, your success is measured by what you do in December at each of these 2 schools. Both these teams last year made the national round, but then lost in the round of 16 once they got down south. The year before, after winning the national championship, Spring Arbor made the semifinals in 23. 23 was the one year that Marian didn't make the national round of the tournament, and they got knocked off by Truett International here in their regional hosting game. By the way, for the Knights, you mentioned that Palmer was out. Allie Treadway, the player that is in. Freshman from O'Fallon, Illinois, that 4 goals and 2 assists on the season.
And talk about a bright spot for the Marian Knights, being able to have someone like Treadway, a freshman, coming in off the bench to finish the last 20-ish minutes of a half, give Palmer some rest, have her fresh at a halftime.
Throw-in coming here for Spring Arbor. And possession has been all around the 18. Not a lot of dangerous looks inside of the 18 just yet. But again, Marian has been undeterred. They have not just tried to play the route one ball down the middle. They have continued to stick with their plan, which is try to build from the back and beat the pressure on the ground.
Yeah, they've done a nice job being disciplined in that ideology. You know, we saw it at the beginning of the game where they were almost having to adjust to not having the ball, and we did see some of that directness. You know, the sense they've gone back to working the width of the field, finding the pivot points, and moving forward.
I think in Ames, you wouldn't say super keeper, but she's kind of that third center back right now in terms of how Marian is trying to possess along the back line. Lengthy lefty blast that Ames is all over. And she will hot potato it. Gives the old Tim Howard roll to get that started on the attack.
I love that look there. If there's one place that Marian will be able to transition quickly, it's going to be in those outside channels. So finding Mullen on that right side quick was a great decision there by Ames.
Koger. And Koger's starting to drift back a little bit more, trying to help in possession. Trying to make the numbers balance here for Marian.
Yeah, we see Wirt and Treadway then up top trying to spread that Spring Arbor defense, but you mentioned it. It's so tempting to see Wirt now even back a bit. Even if Wirt wins here, she's got to go 2-on-1 here.
Wirt continues the fight. Advantage is being played. And now we will go back and there will be a card shown for multiple infractions. Wirt just kept battling. We'll stop the clock here at 15:40. So second yellow going to be shown to the match to Spring Arbor. And this is kind of like a prize fight, which honestly,
it is.
When you got two teams that are this good, it's exactly what you expect.
Yeah, this is well done, though. Wirt with the Meg, and then, yeah, that's the one right there. Using her body to kind of just block her out, but well done by Wirt, trying to find the speed. Hey, if you've got to go 1-on-2, pass the ball, try and beat them with speed. Worst case scenario, you give a ball way down out of your position, but best case scenario, something like that. Wirt's able to beat her, gets the foul called, now you're up into the attack.
It's Thompson that draws the yellow card, so Thompson joins Van Zanten as being in the book. Set piece opportunity here for the Knights. And possession has been very limited since the goal. Bounding ball that gives Kohler no spot of bother at all.
It's a good ball, though. I like that idea. It's just low flighted behind that back line. Spring Arbor's playing pretty high, so that means keeper there had to come out and save it in front of the attacking forwards. It's not as easy as she made it look.
Kohler, a senior from Archbold, Ohio. Ball knocked forward here. Here's the speed of Treadway. Just couldn't put the ball on her front foot. Treadway off the bench at all at 5'1", 4 goals. Cora Selma pulls it back from a second player. Opportunity here. Koger trying to find a window through, and Thompson just knocks it sideways.
Again, seeing the value of Cora Selma there. Even in your attacking third, she does great at just patiently pressuring that ball in the midfield, takes it off the foot, and instantly you're transitioning into the attack again.
Third substitution being used here by Marian. Spring Arbor has just used one as well. Van Zanten is exited. We'll get the player that is replacing her in a matter of moments. Looks like it's Alyssa Pringle that will be that player. Pringle was in the original starting 11 today for Spring Arbor. They made a late change before the match. Pringle, a transfer from Concordia of Michigan, which sadly no longer has a program. Foul against Marian. Sixth foul whistle against the Knights. So far, 3 have been called against the Cougars.
A lot of whistles early on, but, it hasn't been, I would say, too chippier yet. Definitely still possession-based.
Threading the needle here. First touch for Pringle upon entering the match. Deeks Mullen plays it across, back post, and That ball eventually will trickle in a touch for a goal kick. Great ball, just nobody had made the corresponding run to be in that position.
Yeah, it's well done by Pringle there on her first touch. She faces up, able to juke the defender with a simple cut back towards the line, and that's the ball they're looking for. Like you mentioned, just no one forward enough on the weak side to finish it for Spring Arbor.
Gracie Bell joins the attack. No extended arm there. We play on. Here comes Koger. Koger did a good job of kind of taking some snapshots of the action. Said, you know what, let's play for possession here. That's Kylie Conrad, who is the latest player to sub in for the Knights, the senior from Brownsburg. It has 3 goals and 3 assists on the season. Couldn't maintain possession for long, though. Cougars will have it. Cougars have made another substitution as Isla Martinez has exited.
A lot of players cycling up top right now for Marian, which is a great luxury to have. You mentioned it, 3 goals from the sub here, so just a lot of options for them up top.
And a throw-in coming here for Spring Arbor. Hoagies and Hops has been serving Pennsylvania-style hoagies and cheesesteaks in Indianapolis now for 10 years. Located just 6 minutes from campus, Hoagies and Hops is proud to partner with Marian University. They offer a 15% discount for all fans. Just show your game day ticket or Marian ID card. HoagiesandHops.com has more. How about this for timing? Again, it's Treadway. Again, the bounding ball forward, trying to keep it at her feet. Well defended by Thompson. And that's going to be a foul on Marian on the backside. And credit Thompson. She's sitting on a yellow. You have to get that right. And she did.
Yeah, it's a great ball and pickup by Sienna Mullen back in their defensive third, and she's able to find Treadway there, just not strong enough on the ball, and you're spot on. If Thompson gets anything but the ball there, she might be back in the book.
Twofold. That's a yellow, that's a red, and that's a point to the spot, given where she was in the real estate. So good job by Thompson. There's a steal to defend back there.
I think if, Marian will continue to kind of run at Thompson if they can, especially from that angle going into the box.
Koger went flying, deemed to be tackle of the ball first. Flat ball always makes you a little nervous at the back, but on its intended target as it was sent there by Lainey Harshening. Mullen with some space to operate. Treadway. Good follow up that time by Mullen, but Koger's got a bit of a hitch in the giddy up right now after that last tackle.
I like that positioning. Mullen's finding that space right in between the midfield and that back line. It just gives her the time to connect both lines there. You saw it. She's right on top of it, just a little bit long on the second through ball. Foul
called against Spring Arbor. Good touch here. Opportunity here to get a cross away. Defended, and it'll be a corner. Good job to close the window down by Spring Arbor. Once again, that was Ayla Thompson, but it will be the second corner of the match for the Knights.
Yeah, first corner from the Knights. We saw go a little long. It's going to be Kylie Jones again on the service. She varies it up typically when we see her, so we could see something near post or even a driven ball as well.
Selma draws a defender with her to give the short option here. Nothing comes of it, but it will be a throw for Marian. What do you think Marian was trying to accomplish with that?
Short corners, typically you're trying to get right back in your possession. It's almost like kicking it back out.
A reset.
From behind, a reset, if you will. Sometimes you can find combinations. You might find Kylie on a give and go there with Selma. I'm more of a let's serve it in, get it in the box in a dangerous position type coach. But obviously with the philosophy Coach Sullivan and Marian plays with, it aligns. It makes sense.
Ball was kept in play, but obviously steered wide off the boot of the Marian player. So nothing comes of that. Another Marian substitution now will come on. It's the fourth different bench player that Justin Sullivan has run into the contest. Mullen will switch sides of the attack as Sophia Lewis comes on. Sophia, a freshman from Roncalli High School. Conrad was applying pressure. It's going to be, I think, deemed to be a foul from back when Conrad made contact.
Depth is definitely not an issue for this Marian team. And when we were talking to Coach Sullivan, he was mentioning, you know, some of these injuries, they've had some players playing out of their normal position, but stepping up and doing a great job in those absences. And that's part and parcel of how they train and have created this program. Everyone knows the job of the other positions on the field.
After tonight, just 2 regular season matches left for both of these teams, and then it's on to conference tournament play. Lewis, Koger. Koger showing off her skills and draws contact again. Koger may be a walking bruise at the end of this one.
She does a nice job, though. I mean, you really need someone, and Cora Selma's already obviously fantastic technically wise, but I think you need someone like Koger that can take on a few different defenders, hold the ball while your defenders get up, kind of shield it a bit, if you will.
Yeah, Koger can kind of be the target for the hold-up player for Marian. Kostick. When in doubt, just kind of blast that one forward. Does find a teammate. And again, it'll be Marian ball. So again, the possession has started to balance. The heat map has started to move a bit forward for Marian. What they have done, again, even though there's been numerous shots by Spring Arbor, only 2 of those have been on target so far. And right now it's Marian on the front foot. Trying to maybe add 1 before halftime to make this a 2-goal advantage. And Marian, number 3 in the country. Spring Arbor, number 13.
We can see so far in this first half, Spring Arbor doesn't give up a lot of good looks to opposing offenses. So Marian has really got to be disciplined when it comes to those chances, and that's what we've seen so far.
That is just the second shot of the match by Marian. It is not a shot on target, but I like the idea. On a pocket of space in the edge of the 18, give it a blast, and just steered it wide. And now we'll see Spring Arbor build from the back, and frankly, they have not had the opportunity to do that for the last 40-plus minutes. Right Reed just couldn't connect. And now Pringle looks to launch the other direction. There's 2 defenders tracking her every move. And a third in Cora Selma will steal away possession. Here's Kylie Jones. Conrad, Treadway. Again, good job to find Pringle. She has been a target ever since she entered the match. Cross to the edge of the 18. Hit from distance that Ames had covered the entire time. That was Simmons. Put it on targets, didn't put much on it.
Yeah, and credit again Marion's back line and their defense. They're forcing Spring Arbor to take these shots further and further out. Those aren't the looks that Spring Arbor necessarily wants to take, but that's fine by Marian. You know, if you're taking a shot from 25, 30 yards, you've got time to react. Makes it a little bit easier on Ames. And I think it also comes in part with Spring Arbor dropping off their press just a little bit.
When the action heats up, trust Masters Heating and Cooling Indianapolis to keep your home cool. Visit mastersindy.com for more information. Throw in coming for Spring Arbor. Clock counting down, approaching 4 minutes left to go. And that'll be a foul, a push in the back against a Marian player. Arbor trying to get one back here and level this before we get to halftime.
Looks like they're setting up for a long throw. Oh, a free kick.
Yeah, that's foul.
That would make sense.
All the traffic at the edge of the 18 for Spring Arbor. Ball sent in. That was off the head of a Spring Arbor player. I think that was Miller, their leading goal scorer. They got ahead to it, just couldn't steer it on frame.
Miller and Van Zanten, obviously dangerous offensive players for Spring Arbor, but even more so in those set-piece situations. It's a great ball played into the middle, right about the 6. Too much traffic for Ames to come out and try and clean it up, and that's exactly where you want to place the ball, on set pieces.
Just past the outstretched feet of Kylie Conrad. Indiana Wesleyan currently in first place. Marian trying to join them. Grace in solo third. Taylor and Spring Arbor currently sharing fourth place, which is important because the team that would win the tiebreaker would have the home field advantage of those two teams playing in the conference quarters, which as of now would be two top 20 teams in the country facing each other in the conference quarters. And Taylor is the only team to get a point off of Marian this year, playing the Knights to a 0-0 draw. Through ball here, knocked forward, race to the ball, and Kohler wins the foot race.
Good positioning by Kohler, able to just come on out and clean it up. I still love the idea from Marian, though. They go possession, and then quickly try and go direct over the top. Just a little bit long there and cleaned up by Kohler.
Good job to win that one by Postma. Postma, Treadway, just couldn't get around that last defender. And Megan Mahaley. And that ball out of play for a Marian throw in. Well, at halftime, we'll have all the highlights for you. Give you our thoughts as to what happened in half number 1 and just as importantly, what may change in half number 2. And Marian has had this lead now for 42 minutes. Mullen the assist, Koger the goal, and those were seemingly the only 2 easy touches that Marian had the entire game. Everything has been contested since then.
The way this first half has gone, I mean, very, very fortunate to put that away really early because it's been a battle back and forth since then.
Ball gets through here. This is Lewis. Lewis draws 2 defenders with her. Ball played sideways by Postma. Time for one final push here for the Knights. Koger couldn't get on the end of it. And it will be a Marian throw, but the sands of the hourglass starting to slide through a little bit quicker. You hear the voice of Mark Erdosi in the background coming up in a matter of moments. They'll count us down from 10. Treadway. Ball pings off a Marian player, but nothing will come of it. 1-0 Marian leads in this matchup of Crossroads League women's soccer heavyweights. Justin Sullivan and staff will go to work for half number 2. They will do so with a 1-goal advantage. We'll step aside back to Indianapolis in a matter of moments as you're watching Marian University Soccer here on the ISC Sports Network.
This is Molly. She loves hiking, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle. Like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union. This is Paul. He loves running, music, and DIY home projects. In fact, he's remodeling his kitchen thanks to a great low rate on a home equity line of credit from Indiana Members Credit Union. Looks like Paul can do it all with a little help from IMCU.
Merchants Bank is a unique bank. As rates move up and down, our rates are always at the top.
Great. Let's go.
Our team has a proven track record as one of the nation's top performing banks.
Now that's a top performer.
What you see is what you get. A 4.00 APY money market without gimmicks or hidden fees.
Let's leapfrog him. Hop to it. Merchants Bank, where your money is safe, secure, and earning more. Hop on over.
Hey, grab me one too.
Back to the home of the Marian Knights, a place that, well, we're here a lot this time of year, and especially, let's see here, we were here for football of the American tackle variety on Saturday. We're supposed to be here for this game on Saturday as well, but with the forecast being ominous, which is exactly the way it played out, decision was made on Friday to move this game to Monday. Forecast, as you can tell, was for wonderful weather, and again, just kind of the way the schedule worked out. This coming Wednesday was kind of a hole in the schedule for both teams. Just let's not mess with the weather. Let's make sure a game of this magnitude is played under good conditions. That has been the case. Marian has a 1-0 advantage. Greg Rakestraw, Kristen Hazley with you on the ISC Sports Network. I'm not sure if this is what we expected in terms of the type of match, but in terms of the competitive nature of this match, this is exactly what we thought we would see.
You're right. 2 top 10 teams, absolutely always competitive. And Marian able to jump out to the early lead. And you mentioned it, 2 teams that play a similar style, but the last matchup was a goal fest. So far, we're just seeing 1 in the first half.
Well, again, in looking at the scores and stats for Spring Arbor, that's kind of not what they have been playing more of this style. And again, you know, I can rattle off stats. I'll have a bunch of them for you. We don't have possession, but I would wager it's at least 60-40, if not more, in favor of Spring Arbor. Again, they just kind of switched off at the very beginning. Mullen wasn't that contested going to the byline. Koger had acres of space around the 6 just to slot it home. And since then, every Marian touch has had a Spring Arbor player on a hip pocket.
Yeah, and I think that first goal, obviously Sienna Mullen making a great run, just doesn't get picked up down the sideline like you said. And Koger probably giving them a big wake-up call. Those second delayed runs are very tough to defend because as the keeper, you're looking at the cross. You're waiting for it to come. And if a midfielder doesn't track Koger, which is exactly what happened, she's wide open. And she finished, that's going to be the difference. Who can take advantage of the opportunities that they create?
We mentioned the fact that Lily Ames basically has an average of about a save and a half a game. She's already doubled that. She's had 3 saves. Spring Arbor has 7 shots, Marian just 2. Spring Arbor 3 shots on goal, Marian just 1. Again, given the equal nature of these 2 teams, given the toughness of each squad defensively, should not be surprised. There are 14 total fouls that have been whistled in this game so far, 9 against the Knights, 5 against Spring Arbor. 3 corners, 2 for Marian, 1 for Spring Arbor. 2 yellows have been shown. They have both gone to Spring Arbor. So let's kind of take this bench by bench. If you're head coach Justin Sullivan, what is your message to your team, and do you do anything different tactically in half number 2?
Well, I think, one, you come in positive, right? The beginning of this game, obviously you get the 1-0 lead, but after that, you are under constant attack for about 30 minutes from this Spring Arbor offense. And in a position that you're not used to playing if you're a Marian Knight. You're used to having the ball and building forward. So they did a nice job of remaining who they are as a soccer team as far as philosophy. They tried to keep possession. They didn't panic and try to go too direct or just, big kick, boot it. So they've done a nice job in remaining who they are. Now, as far as breaking forward, I think you've got to use your midfielders more. We saw Sienna Mullen finding those soft spots in between the back line and the midfield. Can they rotate in and out and get a little more creativity as to how they go forward?
For Coach Andringa and Spring Arbor, again, you don't like the score. Frankly, you like what you see in terms of how your team has played. Again, for the last 43 minutes, the first 2 not so much. Ever since then, they have been, frankly, the better team. How do you find that breakthrough if you're the Cougars in the second half?
Well, and I think that's kind of been the frustration for Spring Arbor all season, creating good chances, just not being able to finish. I think right now you need to look for Miller on some diagonal runs. Can you find Van Zant on maybe one of those delayed runs that we saw Koger have in the first half? I think they've, like you mentioned, they've done a nice job of keeping the possession. They've drawing some fouls in some dangerous areas, just not taking full advantage of their chances.
We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with first half highlights, and again, we'll clue you in on the upcoming schedule. I mentioned it. It's October. We're here a lot. This is the first of 3 Marian broadcasts this week on ISC. Same with those other ones when we come back here at Ascension St. Vincent Field. It's Marian 1, Spring Arbor 0. You're watching Marian Women's Soccer on the ISC Sports Network.
There's something that may surprise you about Marian University. It's not our Catholic faith or our Franciscan values. It's not our 5,000 students or our diversity. It's not Marian's championship athletics or our Indianapolis location. It's that Marian is home to Indiana's only college of osteopathic medicine. Marian, Indy's Catholic University.
Getting an internship here has been much easier than I anticipated. My friends at bigger schools are telling me, well, I need to live, close to this city so I can work for this company. Well, I'm already close to the city. I live here.
There's companies always asking for students with shop experience, and the dean will email me and say, hey, they're looking for a guy just like you, which is awesome that the dean knows who a guy like me is.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Again, a look back towards the Marian campus. We're right on the southwest corner of the footprint of this near northwest side campus, Indy's Catholic University, on the corner of 30th and Cold Spring. Let's thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. We mentioned, again, we had to go to scramble mode because we were scheduled to do this on Saturday, so we really appreciate the hustle and hard work of Charlie Hammock, Caleb Gross. He's got a bad leg, too. David Kahn, Sierra Borkowski, and Wes Wolf. Our crew's beaten up like it's the end of the year, but yet they're doing a great job on this Monday night. Greg Rakestraw, Kristen Hazley with you. Again, we can show you some first half highlights if you'd like. We can also simply talk about upcoming events. We'll start with the highlights first, and here it is. Again, this looked way too easy given the nature of this rivalry. Everything we have seen since that time, Kristen, about what we expected.
Yeah, a bit of a wake-up call there for the Cougars really early on. And again, it's just Sienna Mullen beating her defender fair and square, and Coger being ready and finishing with some great class there to put them up 1-0.
Again, so the shots in favor of Spring Arbor, possessions in favor of Spring Arbor. But again, you can kind of judge some of the stats. And I would say in terms of threatening moments, the most threatening moment was that early shot by Spring Arbor that rattled off the crossbar, because the other shots have all been pretty relatively easy plays for Ames to make.
Yeah, Ames has done well. She's handling what she needs to. And you're right, that shot from outside early on, probably the most coverage she's had to provide. But it's more than that, right? You're organizing your back line in front of you, talking to Cora Selma, who's organizing the midfield. And the reason that Ames doesn't have to make a lot of saves is they don't give up a lot of shots. So obviously with Spring Arbor, you're going to give up more chances, but can they limit them and make them take those outside shots that they don't want to take?
Again, we will be here a lot over the course of the next 9 days. In fact, we'll have 4 different teams on the ISC Sports Network for Marian University between now and next Wednesday. So in chronological order, the Marian volleyball team is 7-6 in Crossroads League play, 15-7 overall. They are right on the fringe of the top 25, and that's an important delineation in volleyball at this level, because 24 teams get to host games in the national tournament. Marian has done that a lot over the years. They're right on the borderline of doing that. They're also on the borderline of getting a home game in the conference tournament a couple of weeks from now. They'll play a team that is above them in the league standings in terms of Huntington. That is 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. John Herrick and Gene Kesterson have that call for you on ISC. Kristen and I are back on Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock kickoff. Again, number 3 versus number 6, Marian versus Indiana Wesleyan. If Marian gets the full 3 points today, That game is basically for the conference championship. Again, with both those schools currently in line to host NAIA regionals, and frankly for Marian and Spring Arbor, the same is true for Marian and Indiana Wesleyan. Could be the first of 3 meetings between those teams in the span of about 6 weeks. Again, that is Saturday afternoon at 1. The next Wednesday night, the Marian men's soccer team will close out the regular season by hosting St. Francis. Brant McCoskey joins me on that call next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, right here on the ISC Sports Network, and we will be here even more in the month of November. It's starting to feel like November outside. Crisp and cool on this Monday night. The action's been crisp on the field as well. Marian 1, Spring Arbor 0. We'll take a final timeout. Second half action comes your way next as you're watching Marian soccer on ISC.
We jumped in immediately. We take an intro to engineering course.
And they sit there and tell you, we're not going to push you through every single prereq your first 2 years. We're going to let you get hands-on work with engineering right away, because 2 years of a prereq, that's boring.
This is Paul. He loves running, music, and DIY home projects. In fact, he's remodeling his kitchen thanks to a great low rate on a home equity line of credit from Indiana Members Credit Union. Looks like Paul can do it all with a little help from IMCU.
This is the Pepsi for America's Best Barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
Educate students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep your school for 2022.
Moments away from half number 2, number 3 versus number 13. It's number 3 Marian with the 1-goal advantage. Katie Coger getting her 12th of the season on the assist from Sienna Mullen, her 2nd assist of the season. What, if anything, between these two teams you think we might see differently early in half number 2, Kristen?
Early on, I think, Marian's going to try and take possession right away. They don't want to play another half where they have to play to someone else's speed. They want to dictate how this second half is going to go. On the Spring Arbor side, I wouldn't be shocked to see them play a little bit more direct. They typically will play from those outside services into Miller, and you saw they just weren't getting a lot of great, dangerous opportunities from that. I wouldn't be surprised to see them play some maybe direct one-on-one through balls.
Of note, looks like Sammy King is going to get the nod for Marian. She came in as a sub at the end of the first half. I think that Kylie Jones got a bit of a knock during the course of the first half, so she may be on an as-needed basis in terms of half number 2. Because, yes, this game is important, but, again, both these teams think long-term in terms of what November and December might look like. Teams will flip ends of the field. That wind has not subsided just yet. So Marian will have it at their backs to start half number 2. And normally the Wednesday matches are 7 o'clock starts here. We elected to move this one up an hour. Gave us at least one half with daylight.
Yeah, there's an interesting wrinkle in there, as you were talking in our previous break, about potentially playing the same team 3 times in about 3 weeks. And that's such an interesting wrinkle for, 2 conference teams that are going to see each other. You don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, you've got to almost reinvent yourself every time you play them.
So first possession belongs to Spring Arbor. Emma Dennison going to be out there to start the half for the Cougars. Like the pressure to pick up almost immediately from Spring Arbor. A bit of a nervy ball that does eventually find its way to a teammate for Marian. Coger has gone the distance for the Knights and is deemed to be off of her for a Spring Arbor throw in.
And from the kickoff, you saw Spring Arbor just go straight deep and try and press up. They're obviously going to try and pin Marian into their defensive third and just keep looking for those chances.
Good advance of the ball here by the Knights. That's Mullen. Couldn't get back to that in time, and that will be a goal kick. 8 wins, 2 draws, 8 wins, 2 losses, 4 draws. Non-conference loss against 14th ranked Campbellsville for Spring Arbor. Their lone league loss coming in their last outing at number 17 Grace, and that was as of Wednesday. So Cougars in danger of losing back-to-back matches, which is rare for this program. Koger couldn't find a way through the first time. Draws 4 defenders, which leaves a window, but that shot is airmail. That was Wirt that couldn't keep it on target. That's the 3rd shot of the match by Marian. And again, their only shot on goal is the only shot that has gone in.
Talk about efficiency. That was well done by the Marian Knights there, though. They take possession. They're able to find the target forward, Koger, up there, and she does a great job. Draws 3 defenders, finds a cross, just a little high from Wirt on the finish.
Knights may take a little more time on every throw now. Start to shave a few seconds where you can. Jordan Love on the restart. Here's Wirt. 4 goals and 2 assists this year. Koger just tried to spring Parmer. Parmer really didn't go after it, and frankly wouldn't have gotten to it if she had. Throw in coming for Marian. Parmer. First on the team in assists, second on the team in goals coming in. And Coroselma. Parmer held that up, hoping a teammate would latch on to it. Nothing doing.
I like that idea from Parmer, though. You see a few passes going around your attacking third. Nothing really materializing. A little bit too predictable. She tries to hold it up and get something to overlap. I like the different idea and a different wrinkle there for the Knights.
If you're Marian, at least the possession to start the second half looks like the possession to end the first, which was much more possession. Cross here. Did that take a touch off a player? Answer is no. Goal kick coming.
Yeah, Marian's much more comfortable with the ball, obviously. They've done, like we mentioned pregame, the defensive prowess of this Knights team has been impressive this season as far as not only goals allowed, but shots allowed as well. And that's why Ames hasn't had to make a ton of saves. But you see Marian here with the ball, progressing, looking a little bit more in rhythm.
Knocked forward, but possession short-lived. That was Dennison. Right idea on the turn, just couldn't get there in time, could Marian. But frankly, for Marian, it doesn't have to be pretty right now. It just has to be possession and not at this end of the park. Good job to double back by Joldersma. Good switch to the attack by Spring Arbor. 3 behind the ball from Marian. More rotating that way. Ball sent in again. Miller is the target. Ball never got to her. And she's got 8 goals on the season. And that's going to be a foul against Spring Arbor.
Yeah, nice possession there by Spring Arbor. I liked the switch of the field that they had there from the right over to the left. We didn't see a lot of that from them in the first half. They were a little bit more quick to play that cross in versus switching the angles.
Koger the target, but again, great read. If you ask me the player of the match so far for Spring Arbor, I would tell you it is Thompson defensively. Opportunity here, Joldersma. And draws 2 Marian defenders, doesn't get the cross away, but it will be a march to the corner flag for the Cougars as they try to get one back in set-piece style.
Bit of a bright spot here for the Cougars. Nice takeaway there, and then they're able to win that corner versus 2 defenders of Marian. That's the best situation that you can come out of.
Martinez trying to play that one short. Marian got a good read to it and good help. He is going to be off of the Spring Arbor player. Good job by Koger, yep.
Yeah, she's so strong on the ball. You see her again. A lot of players there. You might just see them boot it downfield. She's got no one there. She keeps it and is able to fight off 2 defenders to win the free kick or throw-in.
Last touch by Marian off of Jordan Love. Love is thinking that's her throw-in. It's not. A little confusion there. Spring Arbor's got possession, so we're playing on anyway. Got a Marian player down. Love back up, and we march on. Bit of a lucky bounce there for Marian, but a better read along the back line. Flag went up for a moment, but that was not offside, and so again, the right decision. We continue on. Bit of a shoulder there, but certainly nothing you're going to whistle. It's very much a legal play. I think the overarching lesson so far from this match in both directions, Kristen, is these two teams are very difficult to score on.
Yes, they are very disciplined defensively. I will say that. I've seen, patient pressure is one of the most difficult defensive concepts to coach players on in general. And the fact that both of these back lines are just calm, cool, collected, able to see the play develop and not make those massive errors in the defensive third, very, very tough to score on.
The goal allowed by Spring Arbor was their 14th goal allowed this season. Marian has allowed 7 on the year. And that'll be a foul against the Knights. And remarkably, Marian has yet to allow a goal in Crossroads League play.
And again, Justin Sullivan, when we talked about his keeper, Lily Ames, we mentioned that no goals this conference season, and he said that her quote was, "Well, I haven't had to do much."
Spring Arbor buzzing around the 18 here. Great job to dig in by the Knights. That's Parmer. Parmer waiting for teammates to join, kind of hit that to a spot, but Koger had just broken off the run, so throw in coming for Spring Arbor. Last goals allowed by Marian came back on September the 13th in a 4-2 win against St. Francis of Joliet, Illinois.
Over a month of not giving up a goal. I bet you any coach in America would take that. Or England, or anywhere.
Last touch by Marian off of Aaron Kelly. Throw coming here for Spring Arbor. Gracie Beld. Martinez. And Ames, and that goes in. My goodness. Well, there is that first league goal that goes home, and Ames puts her hands in her head. That is one she should have had. Spring Arbor finds the breakthrough from an unlikely distance and position. And we're tied at 1 with 35 minutes left to go.
Big breakthrough there for Spring Arbor, and it comes from one of those outside shots. And again, that's something Marian's usually comfortable giving up because this should be a save by Ames. And oh, that's just tough on her. Bounces a little bit ahead of where she thought it was, and she will want that one back. That's tough, but well done by Spring Arbor. Finds the opportunity and puts it correctly on frame.
Well, the biggest fan of that may be Indiana Wesleyan, because as of now, they now have a 2-point advantage in the Crossroads League standings, knowing they have to come here on Saturday afternoon. So goal by the Cougars. First one allowed in over 5 weeks by Marian. First one allowed in Crossroads League play. And one that Ames would like to have back.
Now it begs the question, how do you respond? You know, your team has not given up a lot of goals throughout the season. Can they respond and go on the attack? Are they going to be fine defensively, or do you get a little squirrely in there?
That was Postman that got the goal. That is her second goal of the season. This is a far different matchup now at a goal apiece with 35 minutes left to play.
Obviously, possession was, critical and a great bellwether in the first half. It becomes even more so now that we're tied. As the minutes tick by, each team is going to get more and more anxious to be on the ball.
Foul called against Marian, and now set piece from a very dangerous position. Spring Arbor has outshot Marian 8-3. From 7 yards outside of the 18. And this one go up and off the goal post from the football standpoint.
Looked good defensively from Marian there. Have your wall. You've got your line. Trying to play that offside strap. Well done defensively to go with all the runs. Not needed, though, on that one. Little bit high. That's one Spring Arbor again. Those set pieces you don't want to waste.
Opportunity here. Ball knocked forward. Right idea, but again, there's Thompson. Covering all the angles along the back line for Spring Arbor.
She's been really impressive. And, not only does she win the ball, but she'll win it, keep it, and then start the attack.
That was touched last by a Spring Arbor player, so a throw-in coming here for Marian. And Marian won the regular season matchup last year, 3-1. Spring Arbor won the conference tournament final, 4-1, or 4-3 rather. Ball played away from work, throw-in coming here. Koger trying to find a window of space and will walk it halfway across the pitch to do so. Left-footed shot that airmails everything. This match is brought to us by our friends at Michaelis. From ground-up building projects to around-the-clock emergency security services, no one answers your prayers or the phones quicker than Michaelis. Call 1-844-FIX-INDY for more information.
Yeah, the shot from distance there by Kostick, it's a good sign for the Marian offense because she's one of those back defenders. So if she's able to get up into the attack and able to create chances, you're doing something right if you're the Knights.
Palmer will give chase for Marian. Spring Arbor digs in, and that'll be a goal kick, so nothing comes of that. So in terms of the conference table, Marian would stay in second if this score holds. 2 points back of Wesleyan. Now again, Marian plays Wesleyan on Saturday, but it frankly gives the Wildcats an out, if you will, if you can earn the draw on the road. And in terms of Spring Arbor, this puts them in fourth in the league standings, which again, there's a big difference in fourth and fifth. Get a home game in the conference quarterfinals. Both teams, though, I think thinking about at least one more goal here with 31 minutes and change left to go in this one.
No doubt about it. Already have seen in these first 10 minutes a few chances for both teams, as well as that back line just being decisive again. So it might come down to, who makes a mistake. You've just got to be careful and stay disciplined defensively for both sides.
Here's Kelly. We've not seen as much of this in this half in terms of Marian kind of being turned back in their own end.
Great ball.
Ball finds Palmer. Now can Palmer do something with it? 1v3. Tries to round into space, but she'll commit the foul. That's a little frustration there, too. Again, Thompson has been fantastic on the back line for Spring Arbor.
You're not kidding, Greg. And I consider myself a big fan of center backs in general, and she has been impressive. I mean, you mentioned it. Every angle, since that yellow card, she has been spot on with every tackle, which she's got to be. It's really been an impressive show from Thompson.
Chance for Marian to kind of turn up the defensive pressure. It leads to a giveaway, but foul called against Koger.
That's a tough one because Koger just made a great recovery run about 20 yards across the field, put the pressure on Spring Arbor to make them turn it over, and then gets called for the foul.
Miller. Cougars won the foot race to get there. Good give and take between the teams along that sideline. Cora Selma becomes the safety valve. And again, Parmer is the hold-up target up top, with Koger playing underneath, trying to find a connection there.
Yeah, you just want to see Parmer hold that one up. She actually had Koger coming in diagonal for the drop and just tried to turn it and ends up losing the ball there. Very difficult, though, to tell when to hold it and when to try and turn and take your defender on.
That will be a throw and not a foul coming here for Spring Arbor. Dennison was hoping she drew the foul, but deemed to be a legal play, I believe, or is it going to be the foul? Yep, they're marking it off as a foul. Martinez will now be told, no, no, no. Put it right up against the sideline. Okay.
Again, Marian just needs to stay defensively disciplined here. Make sure no one gets free on the runs.
This one will just get to the byline, and there was all kinds of open net if a player could have gotten to it. No damage done just yet. Good job to pull that back by Spring Arbor. Again, Joldersma gets there just in time. Dennison. Now Jordan Love will knock it forward for Marian. Koger couldn't win that one, and that'll be a foul against Koger.
That's so tough for Marian. You just do a solid 2 minutes of trying to defend a corner there. You find the outlet to Koger. Obviously a man on her, and she gets called for the foul, just trying to body up and get that ball up. That's a tough break for Marian.
Back post ball, Marian got there first. Great job to maintain possession by Spring Arbor, but it is deemed they did so with a hand involved. Marian wants to restart quickly. They feel they got numbers at the back. Parmer digs in, and again, just couldn't connect to a teammate.
And you can kind of see the space right there between those front three in the midfield. It's just sagging a bit, so there's not immediate support for Parmer right there on that ball.
And Parmer, Wirt to her left. Tackle ball to Love, didn't get through. Good job to hustle back in by the Marian player, but ball does carom off of her as it crosses in a touch.
Yeah, that's a great recovery run by Jordan Love, just shielding off the defender. I think she's unlucky not to get a foul call there, but not a bad spot to give up the ball, especially when you dim an attack going the other way.
As the bell tolls to the bottom of the hour, advantage is being played for Marian. Would have been a foul, but they maintained possession the entire time. 25 minutes left in this one. Great run going here. Can you find a teammate and get through? Possession maintained by the Knights. Here's Cora Selma trying to get involved in the attack. Carries it a bit further forward than she normally does, but I think she realizes the hour is at hand. And Miller whistled for the infraction. Foul number 7 called against the Cougars. 14 of those have been whistled against Marian. Marian's restart effort goes awry. Let me show you the replay. Cougars have possession, but ball eventually finds the feet of Lily Ames.
I liked the run of Cici Kostick there on that last possession for Marian. She had the ball and she goes with speed. A lot of times, you know, the Spring Arbor defense is looking for that pass first. They know Marian wants to keep possession and move it around. So they might not be privy to ready to take on an attacker coming forward with pace with the ball. And you saw Kostick go through 2 defenders on that last one.
Can Parmer get there in time? She realizes she cannot. Seems important to point out that if these two teams play each other again or even a time after that, those would involve potentially going to added time or going to kicks. Not tonight. 90 is all this one will have in it. It's been a handful of years since we have played overtime in regular season play at any level of collegiate soccer. First wave of substitutions now is coming on for half number 2. One new player on for Spring Arbor. Couple of sets of fresh legs will come on here for Marian. Parmer providing pressure. Good read here. Just out of reach. Liz Fisher is on for the first time for Marian. Freshman from Brownsburg. Van Zant returns for Spring Arbor of note. She's on a yellow, so she's got to be careful. She and Thompson, only 2 players sitting on a yellow in tonight's match. Here's Mullen.
She's been really impressive on the ball tonight.
And thought she'd have the teammate making that run, but you'll settle for the throw next to the corner flag if you're Marian.
And again, it's a great decision. She sees the overlap run coming, but also knows if I give the ball up there, that's okay. You know, they end up getting the throw in, but even if Spring Arbor is there, they can lock in and keep them in that position.
Possession starting to tilt towards Marian. Can they do something with it? They have not had a shot on target since the second minute rather of the match. And that's the goal they picked up. Koger. Again, will widen the attack. Ball finds its way back to a Marian player, but short-lived.
It's much more the creation and creativity we're used to from Marian. Starts on the left side, works its way across to the right. Koger tries to find something open in the middle, and they end up losing it, but better creation from Marian that time.
But a chance going the other direction for Spring Arbor. 3 rotate behind the ball. Good sliding tackle away, timed it perfectly. And Spring Arbor wins it right back. Miller couldn't get to it. Ball finds Koger. All of a sudden, this one's starting to open up a little bit. Koger again. Just trying to get the right angle. Plays it across and wins a corner.
She is putting in the work tonight. Koger again able to find the ball. A great defensive stand by Marian. They transition quickly, and you said it, Greg. It's going to open up. If they can switch the fields as fast as they just did, they'll have some opportunities going forward. Koger does fantastic to get a corner out of that entire run.
And Marian just 4 wins in program history against Spring Arbor. Again, they have more appearances in the national tournament than they have wins against Spring Arbor. Shows you how tough it can be to knock off the Cougars. They got 1 last year, looking for 1 here tonight. Corner opportunity coming here. Bending ball that deflects and just steered wide. Outstanding service. Marian just couldn't put it home.
That was impressive, and that's why I love, I'm team serve it into the box anytime you can, because you never know when something like this will happen. Just a crazy little deflection. Powerful shot, goes just wide, though, from Marian.
That was Wirt. Good look. Just tucked it around the near side post. But suddenly Spring Arbor on their heels to a certain degree. And shots 9-4. The last one made it 9-5. Harshini. Slides it through. Can you get there in time? Wirt keeps it in, but that was not a shot, but Kohler did her job. Shut off any potential rebound or cross opportunity for Marian.
Yeah, well done by Kohler right there covering her near post. It's a good ball by Harshini, but she's unable to get there and find the angle to kind of play that cross back. So, again, easy for Kohler to cover the angle, clean it up. Now Spring Arbor's going the other way.
Jones didn't get there, but didn't have to. Throw in coming. We'll have more substitutions coming on board. I want to thank our friends at Miller Transportation. Miller Transportation is the official transportation sponsor of Marian Athletics. So Marian. Work by Fisher. Able to break away from Gracie Bell. Again, advantage being played as Marian maintained possession. There was a foul there, but no need to whistle with Marian in control. And little frustration being shown by Kostick, and she'll be shown the first yellow of the match for Marian. So Kostick goes into the books.
She's had a great game this evening. I think she's gotten forward in the right opportunities. She's made some great tackles. You mentioned it there, though, just the frustration getting to her. And what Marian in general can't let happen is that frustration seep throughout the team just because they're getting dispossessed and unable to play the way they normally do.
That was Barr that took a tumble there. Marian number 3 in the country, Spring Arbor number 13, but nothing separates them here. Does this match have one more goal in it? And if there is no winner, Indiana Wesleyan is the winner of this get-together. Nice cut back by the Cougs. But there's Koger. Koger able to break free. Slides it to Treadway. Treadway takes one look to find a teammate. Great recovery close by Joldersma. And again, perfectly legal. Shoulder and hip to hip. No problem with that. Sends Fisher into one of the long jump pits. Fisher able to maintain. Fisher a freshman. Treadway a freshman. And it will be a throw coming here for Spring Arbor.
And it's a good break there by Marian. Koger, obviously, with the pickup, drives the attack, going forward with speed, with the ball, finds Treadway. And an impressive turn in the middle of the field for a freshman. It's a good ball, laid out to the left, just cannot get there.
We're going to have a card coming here. So Kylie Jones goes into the book. Some of the volunteer officials clearly not fans of that. I would imagine that was more for something that was said than any sort of action.
I'd put my money on that one, yeah.
Dissent is what that is typically labeled as. Both teams now with 2 players on a caution tonight.
Both center backs. Both of them have to be careful here in the last 17 minutes.
That's off the head of a Spring Arbor player. Treadway does not have to play that, but elects to do so, and no problem with that. All the way to the back now for Marian to reorganize. Kelly widens out to relaunch down the opposite side. Right idea, just again. Player had just taken a step back.
Yeah, Treadway there. It's a good run. Just she plays the ball in before she sees Treadway going wide instead of holding that middle position. Now, what that opens up, though, is they played back, they pivoted quickly, which opened out that space for Aaron Kelly to get forward. And the outside backs carrying the ball forward is typically where Marian's the most dangerous.
Yeah, Marian could take any chances. That ball had to go straight sideways. Last defender. Couple of substitutions now coming on for Spring Arbor. So Dennison returns to the fray. And Alyssa Pringle, who was a focal point late in the first half for Spring Arbor, returns to action as well.
Pringle was great in that first half, came off the bench, instantly provided some offense for the Cougars. She's able to find, again, those soft spots in the Marian defense where she can sit and almost dictate where to go next.
That should be off the head of a Spring Arbor player, and it will be. Goal kick coming up for Ames. Well, as always, Marian Athletics and the ISC Sports Network, presented by our friends at Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, proud partner of the Marian University Knights. And thank you to Charlie Hammock, Wes Wolf, Caleb Gross, Sarah Borkowski, David Kahn, our crew tonight. Alongside Kristen Hazley, Greg Rakestraw with you. First of, put it in Marty Bredeman terminology, 2 titanic struggles here for the Marian women's soccer team this week. Number 13 Spring Arbor tonight, number 6 Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday afternoon. We'll have that one for you as well on ISC. That ball played off the AR. He's out of play. That means it's a throw in for Marian.
Yeah, it's obviously a tough 2 games to finish the conference schedule for Marian here, but I think that's probably what Coach Sullivan would want. Playing the best competition right before you get into the postseason. You're hoping to be playing your best soccer right about now. So really a good test for the Marian Knights.
And you also get them at home as well. Sammy King on your screen and back in the contest.
That was another thing Coach Sullivan talked about was we asked, how massive is it for this game to be home? And he said it's huge. Everything from game day to travel to schoolwork, it's all easier when they're here at home.
By the way, I also want to point out that, we talked about our crew scrambling to be on this one. Originally, this was supposed to be Rick Johnston's game tonight. If he was going to be on Saturday night, it was going to be him that was doing the call. I was a little busy with the Indy 11 on Saturday night.
Another rain delay to hang out with.
I've had a few of those in my years with the Indy 11. The game was delayed by 2 hours. We may have been able to play this game at about 8 or 8:30 if conditions had held on Saturday night. But frankly, this was a much better solution.
Yeah, and it was going to be a pretty quick turnaround for Marian as well. So I'm sure they were happy to have a few extra days to kind of recover and then game plan for Spring Arbor.
That's a foul. By the way, Rick had another gig tonight, and it's an audition, and I'll let him tell what that gig might be if he wins it. So good luck, Rick. Here's an opportunity by Wirt. Gets off a defender, does not get through. Selma heads it down, but quickly smashed 50 yards up the pitch. Ames ventures out of her goal, and she'll take a look, and she'll redirect. Good-looking ball here.
Great distribution there by Ames.
Here comes Selma. Just not the right touch. Does this match have one more left in it? Kostick. Koger gets the friendly bounce. Koger has a go from distance. Koger! That was world class, and Kohler was up to the challenge, and to be blunt, she's been kind of sitting there cold for a while. Sprawling save by Kohler to keep this level at a goal apiece.
Yeah, it's a great save from Kohler and a great shot from Koger. You see Kohler just going over there. Top hand, gets it over, parries it wide. Well done to kind of launch herself to her left side and make the tip there.
Simply put, that is good on good right there. Corner coming for Marian.
You hope that kind of jump starts a little something for Koger. She's got the ability to score from that distance.
Ball sent in. Harshini was the target. Left foot for Marian, doesn't get through. Harshini works her way around. Finds a teammate. Treadway's blast. could not get through, and now some valuable real estate bought by Spring Arbor. But it feels like Marian's on the front foot here with 11 minutes and a little extra left to go.
Definitely getting louder around St. Vincent Field here, and you can tell why. I mean, Marian picking up possession now and starting to find the attack.
Mullen, Wirt, back to Mullen. Kelly, headed down. Wirt just couldn't dig in. Again, good win by Spring Arbor. He's good on good for that last blast by Koger. That's could describe the 11v11 tonight.
Yeah, and again, Sienna Mullen, speed with the ball, dribbling at the defense. It's working for them right now.
Flag stays down, and the foul is given. It's outside of the 18. Foul is given. So again, not a point to the spot, but dangerous free kick territory here for the Marian Knights.
Yeah, I think it's a good call outside of the box there. Definitely a dangerous area as well. If they try and serve something and you've almost got to take a little bit off of it, try and pull Kohler off of her near post.
Both referee and AR kind of glance each other to go, you see what I see? Almost simultaneously, both whistled for the restart. See the alignment here for Marian. In swinger with the left. Knocked down and knocked home. Marian is in front with less than 11 to play.
There it is for Marian. And from the set piece, a great ball in. Just lofted a little bit, floats, hangs in the air. And there it is. Excuse me.
Wirt got the first touch. It may have deflected off of somebody else. I think there was a second touch there. I'm not sure who it was. Wirt steered it, but that took another turn, and Marian now in front 2-1 with less than 11 to play.
Massive by Wirt. You're right there. And she just breaks free of the defender, elevates. That ball hangs in the air a bit. She almost, you mentioned it, flicks it on back behind Kohler, and that's where they get her beat. Massive goal to go up by 1 with 10 minutes to play.
Again, this, folks, has been as good as advertised. So Marian finds a go-ahead goal late. I'll ask the question again, is there one more in it? It is going to be Sammy King that gets credit for the goal.
Well done, and my coaching philosophy, good things happen when you put the ball in the box, and it's excellent discipline there by Marian to play a great ball, available to play, and then the flick on. You never know if you get something on the ball, what might happen.
If you're either team, are you changing how you do business here just yet?
I don't think so. I think if you're Marian, the only option you might be is quote-unquote park the bus, maybe pull a midfielder back. You might have Corselma play a little more conservatively, almost sit tighter on that back line, but if you're Marian, the past 10 minutes I think have been the best spurt you've played with possession and creation, and you don't want that to go away.
Well, to your point, Kristen, the shots now in the match are almost level, 9-8 in favor of Spring Arbor, and if you've been following along, Spring Arbor's been almost out shooting Marian 2-1 for most of this match. So again, a quick recap. Marian scored in the second minute. Koger's goal, her 12th. Then the equalizing goal, the first goal allowed in conference play by Marian this season. That goal belonged to Jessie Postma on a ball that, again, Lily Ames would like to have back for Marian. But again, frankly, a 1-1 score was indicative as to how this match had been played. Marian finds the go-ahead goal as we are now down to 9 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this crucial match in the conference standings in the Crossroads League.
Yeah, and I think, the Marian back line, not only in the first half, but the second half as well, credit to them because they have limited the opportunities that Spring Arbor sees going forward. And what that forces them to do is take those outside shots. You mentioned Ames would like it back. That's a save most keepers will want to be able to make from a 20, 30-yard shot.
By the way, there was a yellow assessed to Allie Treadway in that stoppage in play. Good win by Koger. Mullen to Treadway. Freshman getting some really important minutes here. And did exactly what she had hoped to. Fired that ball off of Mahaley during the corner.
One of the keys to this game coming in for Spring Arbor on the defensive end was I think you've got to try and give up throw-ins versus the corner kick. They can defend well there, but if they can limit those opportunities, and tonight they've just given Marian too many crossing looks.
Already Marian will go short here. It is an early autumn night, campfire time for Marian, with 8.5 minutes left to go, and now they'll be in retreat mode and go the other direction.
Now, you don't want to drop off too much to let Spring Arbor work it around and move the ball forward. If I'm Marian, I want to keep them here in this corner as much as I can.
No foul there, but Marian has possession. Now they'll draw back and try to play keep away as best they can from what is always a potent Spring Arbor attack.
And that was one thing I was surprised we didn't see more from Spring Arbor was the
Treadway
press.
gets away. Treadway left foot. Make it 3 for Marian. The freshman in Treadway gets her 5th of the season, and it is a 2-goal lead for the 3rd-ranked team in the country.
Allie Treadway, the freshman, playing some big minutes. You said it right before the goal. Massive minutes. And this touch with her left as Kohler's coming out to close that angle down. Wow, what poise and just concentration from the freshman. A great goal by Treadway, and that might be it for Spring Arbor.
Watching Treadway, I think of one of the characters from Rudy who would say 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing. That's Treadway. You got to have some skill if you're going to play at that size. You saw that speed and that textbook finish with the left foot by Treadway. So 2-goal advantage, and that changes the math now with 7:40 and counting left to go in the match.
Changes the math from the conference perspective as well, right?
So again, right now, Marian and Indiana Wesleyan in a flat-footed tie on 19 points. And they play each other Saturday afternoon at 1. And how about this finishing kick from Marian? Again, this is their 14th match of the season. This is their 15th match of the season. They have won 13 and drawn 1. And again, to Indiana Wesleyan's credit, they're looking at in a similar scenario. That's a bit of a giveaway by Joldersma for Spring Arbor. Parmer. Koger. Good toe poke away by the Knights. And this could be potentially, depending on how the rest of the conference table shakes out, this could be a conference semifinal matchup. So these two could see each other in about 2.5 weeks. That cross played out Miller again. Miller's sitting on 8 goals for the season, which is exactly why Marian dug in that fashion. They knew a blast was coming. Foul is called. And again, most importantly for Marian, that clock will continue to roll.
Yeah, another great defensive stand. And it's, again, Corselma coming back from the midfield. Slide tackle right at the top of the box. And she's so precise with the tackle. She's patient and waits until she's got a clear path to go to the ball, not wanting to risk any fouls in that area.
That's off the shoulder of a Spring Arbor player. That ball carried him nicely to a Marian player, just couldn't do much with it. And again, you're not getting much help up top. Parmer is officially on Striker's Island at this point for the rest of the match. Good job to let that one roll as long as you could from the Marian perspective. And that will be We'll stop the clock here because of a Marian substitution. That way you can't allow the clock to roll out in that fashion. A rare exit by Coro Selma, as now Love will enter.
Jordan Love, another player that is a little bit newer in this back line, if you will, trying to figure out sort of the possession style pace moving forward. And I think she's done a nice job tonight of timing the tackles and staying in line with that back line.
And now if you're Marian, you are trying to take every bit of rhythm out of this match with 5 minutes left to go. And it will be a goal kick. We've referenced the last couple of matches on the docket for Marian. For Spring Arbor, they will play Bethel and Goshen. Bethel currently 3-4 in league action. The Maple Leafs 0-7. So the expectation would be for Spring Arbor to take maximum points from the last 2 matches remaining. If this score holds, they could still finish as high as second, but they could not get to the top spot in the league. Shouldersman. Bit of a nudge, nothing there. Throw in coming here for Spring Arbor. And again, throw in coming. Taken by Gracie Beld. Koger catches your attention for the amount of goals she has scored, but she does all of the little things in addition to that. She's been just as important defensively and in possession for Marian as she has been as a goal scorer tonight.
You're spot on. She's a triple threat, you know. She can do defensively, offensively. She'll transition you guys. She's so strong on the ball, too. You know, you saw Sienna Mullen with some great runs diagonal at the defense today. Koger can do the same thing, but with 2 defenders hanging off of her.
Speaking of Mullen, and again, just walks the corner flag. Obviously, there is talent there, and that will be a corner, but the soccer brain is engaged of this team as well.
That's a great point, Greg. The way that they play, possession style based, you've got to make decisions. You've got to make them quick. And there are right and wrong decisions in that system. You have to know where the pivot point is, when it's on, and that requires all 11 players on the field to be locked in.
And again, we'll stop the clock. This is just to, as there's another substitution coming on, so hence why the reason you're stopping the clock in this scenario. Marian fans, be sure to join us Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock for the match that more or less will determine the conference championship. Indiana Wesleyan and Marian. Coro Selma comes back in. And that'll be a corner coming up here. I'll be honest, I was a little surprised when Coro Selma got pulled, so I'm not surprised that 2 minutes later she's right back in the match.
Interesting.
I almost wonder if maybe there was some confusion as to who got that last yellow for Marian.
Could have been.
And it was thought, hey, let's get her out sitting on a yellow. Now Koger again will walk this ball to the corner flag, and Marian has been textbook as to how you try to kill off a match these last few minutes.
Man, they've done a nice job of really being in control of all aspects of the game. We were just talking about the possession system. That allows Coach Sullivan to dictate the way that the game plays, the tempo, the pace, north and south versus east and west. It's really gives Marian a lot of control over the game so they can do things like this, slow down the tempo, waste the time, etc.
Well, Spring Arbor, as always, a very quality side. And frankly, I think the expectation is these 2 teams will see each other again at some point. Foul called against Marian. Thompson will direct this into the fray. in the conference tournament dates, November 8th, November 8th, and November the 12th. It is now a midweek championship, and these two teams played each other for it a year ago. Bells tolling. It is 8 o'clock in Indianapolis. Bells tolling in this match for the multi-time national champion Spring Arbor Cougars. This is just the first chapter likely written between these two teams this year. There could be as many as 2 more.
Yeah, the Knights will be happy to walk away, obviously, with the win on this one. But you mentioned it, other matchups potentially looming. And if it's not Spring Arbor, it's one of the other top 10 ranked teams nationally.
When you tell the story of these two teams, you don't tell it in October. You tell it in November and December, and I would not be stunned if we're in that exact same position again.
Create such a nice, great, fun rivalry, though. You always know you're going to play a solid opponent in Spring Arbor. Obviously, over the last decade, you've seen Marian kind of get up there. What a great Conference A and a rivalry here that can really, all players can look forward to playing this.
This is the Crossroads League in virtually every sport at this point. It is such a wonderful configuration of schools and athletic programs. Mark Cardosi is counting this one down, but this one is about to be in the past tense. Marian gets 2 goals in the final 11 minutes to separate themselves from Spring Arbor and make them and Indiana Wesleyan atop the league going into a clash on Saturday afternoon. Your final score in Indianapolis, Marian 3, Spring Arbor 1. Kristen, final thoughts on this one?
Again, a great win from the Knights. You're walking away positive with this, but you have unfinished business. You've got a big game Saturday moving into the postseason, and we can't wait to be back here.
For Kristen Hazley and our entire ISC Sports Network crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. This one, as we thought it would be, was worth the wait from Saturday night. Thanks for spending part of your Monday evening with us. We'll do it again Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock for Marian and IWU with first place in the Crossroads League on the line. Good night from Indianapolis and a good night for the Knights. They win at 3-1 on the ISC Sports Network.
Does your school offer high-quality education? Does it offer virtual or hybrid options? Marian University Preparatory School educates students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep